here is Marik Ishtar's deck. This has gone through many renditions over time, and so I'll start from the top. I had one Gilgarth in here, but I just had I had the Japanese one out already, so I said, you know, I don't care. I'll just stick a second one in there. Anyway, so I had the secret rare in here originally, which was just, again, $10 a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, and then it skyrocketed to 60 or whatever it is. So yeah, the original ultra rare. I have an ultra rare first ed from Legendary Collection Joey because it's pretty cool. I also like ultra rares more than anything. 3 Mystic Tomatoes. I kind of have a good excuse to use this because in the anime, his rare hunter used Mystic Tomato, so I'm fine with that. Plus, it fixes a lot of problems in this deck. Mystic Tomato searches for a Legendary Fiend, which you do not want to normal summon normally, because it is a terrible move. So you summon that off Mystic Tomato during your next standby phase and it gains 700 attack points, and then it becomes usable. I printed Plasma Eel, or I actually had someone. I paid someone to make this, actually, which I could have done myself, but I didn't know better at the time. So this card can't be destroyed by battle. During either player's turn, you can equip this card to one face-up monster your opponent controls. The equipped monster cannot be tributed, and it loses 500 attack points during each of your opponent's end phases. So it's pretty good, especially if you just have one of them and you just stall by having defense mode. Or if you have 3, that's even more crazy. But it's also kind of broken. So originally, there was no Plasma Eel in the manga, it was Visor Des, which is easier to get around for the opponent, because after the 3rd turn, it stops being quote-unquote invincible, which in the manga was an actual term, invincibility. So Visor Des is more fair than Plasma Eel. So it's up to you. I have 2 Revival Jams in here. 2 Mother Grizzlies. Again, this fuels the Revival Jam. Helps that and your other combos. Mother Grizzly also searches for something else. You can search for King of the Swamp. Lord Poison. And it's funny because Lord Poison can actually search for or return a Mystic Tomato, which is pretty neat. Lord Poison, I'll explain that in a minute, but anyway, Winged Dragon Fra. So I've been going back and forth about using the anime version, which is, all you need is just the singular card, or the real life version, which you need raw sphere mode to actually make this playable. Otherwise, if you normal summon this, you just basically lose. This has no protection ability aside from when it's summoned, your opponent can't activate Solemn Judgment or Torrential Tribute, but they can Sakuretsu it. Yeah, but you can special summon this. Oh wait, it can't be special summoned. Okay, when it's normal summoned, you can pay life points so that you only have 100 left. So if you do not do that, you just sack 3 creatures to summon this, and then 0 attack. But you can then pay 1,000 to destroy 1 monster on the field. So it's really up to you. This just cannot be special summoned. It's such a disgusting treatment of Ra. I couldn't believe it. It was nice that they were making this legal back in the day, the Shonen Jump version, but it was just terrible. Lava Golem. Helpo Emmer. To get this to work, you can normal summon it and just smack into their creature or sack it and set it face down. Dralago. Dralago's pretty good. In the manga, Dralago did not have an effect, just like Lord Poison, and Lacunga did not have an effect. Dark Geroid, Boganian. I'm using the anime version of Granador. When it's in defense mode during your standby phase, you gain 1,000. I'd rather do that to make it playable. Edoria, I use a Sangan. In this deck it helps because the deck is huge. Jurido, that was also a normal monster, but it's better now. Makira the Destructor actually helps a few combos. And in the the anime, Visor Death and Visor Shock actually were converted into these two to make it less, maybe less torturous, but I don't know. Visor Shock was also a 4-star in the manga, as opposed to a 5-star in real life. So I guess I'm kind of blending different redos. I don't know what the term is for, but at the end of the day, just know that he used Visor Shock and Visor Death and in the manga, and not Plasma Heal, and not these. These were anime creations. I use 2 King of the Swamps because I use Egyptian God Slime. I'm actually planning to sort of erase part of the effects on the new cards because they are just too good. So in the manga and anime, all this did was basically, it was just, you fuse it with Revival Jam, and it's basically just a big Revival Jam. That's really all it is, which is more fair. So that's why I have 2 of those, because I'm still figuring out if it's fair or not to just sack this to summon this card in this format. Spell and Trap Removal, Bait Doll was in his hand in the anime. Polymerization, he had Black Pendant. I used 2 just because. Left Arm Offering. You can dump your whole hand for a Pot of Greed. Why not? Vengeful Bog Spirit fuels a lot of combos. Unfortunately, when they made Blaze Cannon, the error that they made, which they've been doing an excellent job of creating cards to mirror what happened in the lore, in the media. Nobody ever realizes, nobody's realized this, but I have. But the one flaw that they did was, which I actually emailed them about, was the card Blaze Cannon that they made. It says this, Ra is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. But in the anime, Marik uses the instant attack or the instant win effect of Ra, the individual card, while Vengeful Bog Spirit is on the field. So I said, well, maybe you should word it differently and say, all your Ra is not affected by other card effects, not just your opponent's card effects. So you can do that if somebody's playing a deck like this, because in speed duels, they have made shitty character decks. I mean, they made them. Celebrate, right? Anyway. Magical Stone Excavation. I didn't feel like buying the original Champion Pack version again, so I'm glad that they made an ultra rare one. I have to give Konami Card Division props for this, because they're making a lot of cards in alternate rarities that were either hard to get as those original rarities or just Japanese. So for instance, the ultra rare, what's it called? The Serpent Knight Dragon. The first ever ultra rare Serpent Knight Dragon was one of the prize cards in one of the first 2 Japanese tournaments. So, and now it's worth, I don't even know, almost $1 million. My Japanese friend told me it was on auction a couple years ago for $500,000. So, anyway, I'm glad that they printed the ultra rare Serpent Knight Dragon and stuff like that. An ultra rare Ryu and ultra rare Ion Zanryu as well, which was pretty neat recently. I just wish that they would return to the nice etching and quality of the card instead of the new design, which actually looks like it's very cheap and it's flimsy. But oh well. One step forward, one step back. Malevolent Catastrophe is nerfed. In the anime, when your opponent declared an attack, it basically, I kid you not, it was Dark Hole and Heavy Storm in one card. I'm pretty sure it was either all monsters or all cards in the field. It was something like that. But this just Heavy Storms when your opponent declares an attack. I used to love Nightmare Wheel. I actually used it back in the day for fun. I burned someone for 2,000 once. I kept their monster face down. They couldn't flip it up, so it was like a mini nobleman. Magic Jammer, card of Last Will, I use if the attack of your monster has changed, draw until you have 5, the enemy effect. So that's why I only use like 1 Dark Geroid. Maybe I should just limit that to 1 because that card is broken. No matter how you slice and dice it. Hidden Soldiers is pretty garbage, but I use it just to balance out the deck, the brokenness. That's one reason why I use certain cards, to balance out the brokenness of the other ones. Relief Monster is really fun because you can return Dark Geroid, summon it again, and their monster loses 800 attack points. Let me see. Oh, so it doesn't matter. You can return one monster you control the owner's hand. You can return a monster that's stuck under their Spellbinding Circle to your hand. So, you know, that's neat. Jam Defender. The other error that Konami Card Division made was these do not work together. In the anime and manga, this was also considered, fusion monsters were considered part, holistic, but also considered part of their material as their own. So that's why in the lore, Marik could use Jam Defender with that, because it also consisted of Revival Jam. Rope of Life, Metal Reflex Slime. The reason why they stuck with 3,000 defense is because the manga version of this actually took 3/4 of the attacking monster's attack points, basically. So, why not? Mirror Force, I do use a Draining Shield because this deck can, you do need life points for Ra and something else. Dark Spell Regeneration, which they added a cool effect. Alright. There were other cards that they made, like Tribute Burial, I think. It might be hard to find right now, but anyway, they made Tribute Burial, I think that's the name of it. Unfortunately, Konami Card Division also didn't really keep true to it, because it only summons 8-star monsters. So you can't use it like the anime or the manga. So that's pretty unfortunate. But you can make up, if you're playing with friends, you can make up your own rules. You can say, well, you can summon a 6-star or an 8-star, just like in the lore. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this and listening to some of these rationales and everything. If you have any questions, you can leave them below or suggest another character deck. I have a few more that I'm planning to do in one sitting, but I'm going to release them staggered through the week. Alright, thank you. Bye.